Why do you think we went through that stage where people hated real estate agents?
Oh man, I don't think it's changed at all. I think in terms of society's view or perception of where we are in the pecking order, I think we're right there, if not below used car salesmen, right? Everyone calls it easy work and everyone calls it light work where you're just opening up a door. But the reality is it's, as much as real estate agents try to glam it up, it's the most least glamorous work out there and no one really wants to do it because it is a crazy emotional roller coaster that takes you to the heights of exhilaration. I've just decided life is too short to be punched in the face this much.
Yeah.
You know, my dad even said to me not too long ago, he was like, mate, when you were a kid, you were a fucking mess, right? He's like, I was worried about you. I used to go into your room and I was scared to go into there and you used to sleep until like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the weekend and in your school holiday. So I think the deeper I went down the rabbit hole, the more addicted to it I got. I got paid less on the deal. The buyer who was dragging out the negotiation was a very well-known guy, very good in property, very involved in property. Absolutely hates my guts. But at the end of the day, I sleep really well at night knowing that my vendor's net position was the best from dealing with the other buyer. And you know, that's what I'm paid to do, is get my client the best possible deal for them.
This Could Be So Good is a show about what it really means to build a business. It's proudly brought to you by The Pillars, a private members club located in Sydney CBD for innovators to connect, and the award-winning Ben Buckler Whiskey, because some of the best conversations happen over good whiskey.
Gavin Rubinstein from TRG, International Principal of the Year, 24-25. And
For Ray White, just for Ray White.
Right. And
Sounds better without that.
You didn't have to put that in. And a man who has spent more time on TV than me.
I don't know about that, but
Mate, lovely to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to see you both.
Nice to see you again.
We got lots to talk about, including, let's go with your style first up. How far in advance do you work out what you're going to wear? Because it takes me a year to get ready for the Logies. And every day.
Come on, does it really?
Come on. So we're seeing
Have you not seen he has the fitting on his social? He had the whole fitting on there. We could all watch
I feel like you always look good, man.
Come on, mate. Thank you. So no, seriously, some style happening there.
I mean, honestly, the morning of.
I think you dress for the day, like it's grey and it's wet today.
The morning of. I go the morning of, unless I've got like an event, which is in Sydney not often, maybe 3 times a year. I'll pre-plan maybe a nice suit that I'll get made. But other than that, I go morning of, and you know, I love fashion, and for years I've been collecting. So you know, fortunate enough to have a bit of a nice mix to choose from, and I wake up and I go, how do I feel? What's the weather like?
Yeah.
Let's match it.
Speaking of the morning of, what does the morning of look like for an empire builder like you? Because I know you're in the gym at like, what is it, 4 in the morning or something?
I don't know about 4, but I open my eyes around 5, and then I start early, man. I like to get a jump on the day and a jump on what I need to do, and the fitness and feeling fit physically translates to, you know, how I'm feeling emotionally and mentally, and so it all, for me, is one big correlation and connection, and find that the more prepared I am, you know, on an emotional, mental level, then the easier or smoother, let's say, the day becomes.
Right.
So
do you wake up at 5 naturally, or is it an alarm?
It depends where I'm at in terms of the cycle, but I get to the point of just waking up naturally.
It's good when it's like that.
the
I love it.
best.
I'm 5:30, and if I get out of that on holiday or something like that, or you go time zones and then it takes you a while to get back.
Fully.
When you're back and then you just wake up bang at the same time every day, it just feels good.
Yeah, well, you're in cycles. Better to wake up without an alarm than an alarm, right?
Yeah, because it's bad for you. It's
For sure.
terrifying.
Do you switch off at night though? Because I reckon people get home at night, have a glass of wine with dinner, maybe start looking at realestate.com. And you must be getting calls at 10 o'clock at midnight. You know, right?
You know, I feel like for a real estate agent, one of the main functions of our role is to pick up the phone.
Yep.
So, you know, you've got to be available. Like I'm negotiating a property right now with a particular buyer I've been working with, and she says to me, it's astounding how responsive you are and how you always pick up the phone. You respond on a Sunday and you're back to me straight away. And I think, you know, considering how many properties you got listed, how much you got going on, and I think when we as agents lose sight of the fact that that's one of the main functions of what we do, we get in trouble. So I always like to try and be available. And if I'm in an appointment like I am right now, my phone is always diverted. Like I've got a second number, so I always am available and responsive that one of the members of my team, you know, gets back to the marketplace with. So Yeah, I'm always on. I'm never really off.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I think it's a service industry thing as well, right? I think service industries find it quite difficult to differentiate themselves other than the service that they give, right? So by being the way you are, and as you remember from when I was buying a house last time I saw you, I was very much heavily into recruitment. It's a very similar thing. I was the same. I'd respond on a Sunday, I'd answer at night. I think it's a way of differentiating yourself. And the amount of people that are surprised by that tells you how something so easy and so small can differentiate yourself.
For sure. I think especially in Australia too, right?
Yeah, especially in Australia.
Yeah, it's like there are different standards here. And so like it's probably more in line with that of say, New York or I completely agree with you. You get a good response. Sure.
I used to do a corporate talk, and I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before or not, and it was called Why I Hate Real Estate Agents. And the group
Join the queue.
The group that picked it up the most, because I thought I was going out to banks and things, but I ended up doing it to real estate agents because they found it very helpful and to hear it from someone on the other end of it, what you're doing wrong.
Sure.
And I think things are changing now, but why do you think we went through that stage where people hated real estate agents?
Oh man, I don't think it's changed at all. I think in terms of society's view or perception of where we are in the pecking order, I think we're right there, if not below used car salesmen, right? And I get it. I do, because I see some of, how agents treat the marketplace, treat the vendors, things they do that you read about. And it's a shame, really. I think, look, I've always tried to kind of combat that. You're never going to please everybody, but I have always, particularly with TRG, try to uphold a certain level of standard, certain level of service. I think one of the reasons why is there's a low barrier of entry, which New South Wales is now kind of changing, and they're lifting it. They're making it harder. They're really making it harder to be a real estate agent and operate as a real estate practitioner without, racking up a certain amount of numbers of hours of experience out in the field. I think it's...
But you'll still be an asshole, right?
Yeah, of course.
You still get all of that, and you can still not be a good person.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it as kind of an industry in terms of what you need, or not need, but what kind of makes a certain personality tick in order to succeed, can sometimes be in that place of what people don't accept. I also think the good ones, and there aren't heaps of them, but the small portion that are really good, obviously everyone at my firm is really good, so it falls into that category, obviously. I think we're very well remunerated for the work that we do, but it's like an interesting debate I love to have with people, because everyone calls it easy work and everyone calls it light work where you're just opening up a door, but the reality is it's, as much as real estate agents try to glam it up, it's the most least glamorous work out there, and no one really wants to do it because it is a crazy emotional roller coaster that takes you to the heights of exhilaration and drops you to the depths of depression in the space of hours, right? And people put a lot of pressure on you if you're doing it properly. So it's always an interesting debate I love to have with people. I know personally what I've given the business and the industry over the course of the last, 18 odd years, what I've given back to the industry in terms of, helping people in and around, whether it be in the office or just, through podcasts and real estate focused sales training. I know what I've given my clients in terms of, dedication over the course of the year. So I can only really speak for myself, and I sleep really well at night. So
Yeah.
Gee, I don't think they hate real estate. I don't. I really don't. I think one, when you're selling, they love you. They absolutely love you, and you're the favorite person, and they can't wait to talk to you, right?
Yeah, I agree.
They're just excited to see you, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely no hate there. And then when I think they're buying, I think they hate the price.
Yeah.
I think they hate the price, and I think they hate the uncertainty of the auction process that we have in Australia. I think that's what they hate. You're just the person that's enabling that, and so maybe it gets
meat in the
directed
sandwich.
at you.
But they're going to blame someone, right?
They should blame, I don't know, why don't we blame the government? We should blame the government.
Let's blame the
do
government.
that.
I'd do that.
Let's do that.
I think we're an easy person to blame too, right?
Sure.
Because of the general perception of real estate.
And the cars. People hate the cars.
I think it's that.
I think that doesn't help.
Yeah, I think there's an array of reasons, right? There's so many. I just think ultimately an easy target. But I do, because I've been exposed to the industry for a long amount of time. I've studied it. I've dealt with lots of people in the industry. I get it.
So when you broke away and started TRG, it was a big move. It was a bold move.
Yes.
Was that part of your plan to work on the perception, what the office should look like, what your agent should look like, how you deal with people, how you talk to people in a startup phase? How important was that?
I think I've always been quite obsessed with the detail.
Yeah.
So even before TRG, I always viewed myself as a business owner. And, my business was determined by essentially my reputation and how good my reputation was. And this is just how I ran it in my little mind. Determine my share price, if you like. So I thought the better I did for clients, and that's as much as we'd like to take care of buyers, that's sellers, because I'm a vendor agent, not a buyer's agent, so I represent the seller. So the better I did for my clients and the better results and the outcomes, talk about prices, I'd be able to get through a transparent way, the better my business and the higher my share price would go. And I kind of just focused on that, but was always obsessed with the detail. And I think why TRG has had the traction that it has had was because I had, 10, 11 years in that phase. So whilst it may look like a startup to someone like yourself who's going through a startup right now, there was that preliminary phase of foundation that I built, which was Gavin Rubinstein and my own private, let's say, company.
Steve, how different is that when you are, I'll just talk about startup concepts for a moment, when it's the person, when the value in the bank is the person, as opposed to something in a bottle or something that sits on a shelf that has no name and no face?
I think the value is in the person with every business. I just think most people don't realize it. And I think in real estate or a service industry like that, where you are an individual to some degree, yes, you work for a brand, but you are very much an individual. They don't come to Ray White or necessarily any of the other brands initially. They go to the person that they know, wherever that person is working, right? And I think that happens in accounting. I think that happens in legal. When you see people move firms, people move with them. So if you look at any founder of any business, I think even when you're a tech founder, right, and you're building a piece of technology, the end customer might not buy into that individual as a stock, but the VCs who are funding them sure are, and you can't build a tech business without funding. So it really doesn't matter what he's doing. But most people just don't realize and they don't place the importance on that. And you did that obviously from day one. I mean, you hit the industry with a bang, right? When you came into real estate, you had enormous success because probably you saw that, you understood that it was not you. It was a you. It wasn't about the house. It was about you and the service that you gave. So it's essential. And you're right. Most startup founders don't think about it, and they should do, because it will accelerate their success, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
And that's what you'd say to, I was going to say, anyone coming into the business who wants to be the next you.
Yes.
There's not many like that, right? What makes it so hard to do what you've done? Which, of course, is the true value and how.
How did you do it? Like that first year was massive, right? That you had. Compared to most first years.
Sure.
How did you do that?
I try to reverse engineer this concept, because where I'm sitting now at the firm and having a lot of the younger guys and girls come in and seeing the turnover from particularly the younger people who think that it is easy and it is just nice cars and it is just, kind of surface level exciting.
Giving up your Saturdays, that's it, right? Yeah.
Right, but then when they get down to the crux of it, they're like, it is so tough. I think, how did I do it? Good question. From the outset, I had a really clear idea of what I wanted, like really super clear. And naturally that made the journey palatable. I think—
That's an interesting comment. I like that comment.
Yeah, I think real estate eats up a lot of people and spits them out, like huge turnover rate, because I think the level of rejection and how tough, like those lows get so low, people just don't want to deal with it, right? But I just never quit. And I wish I had some sort of like answer that could convey like a high level poise or show that I'm special in some sort of way, shape or form. I just had a really strong why. I had a really strong like vision of where I wanted to go, and I was just pursuing it every single day with the same vigor, with the same energy that I set out to at the start, no matter how low the lows got.
We talked about this so many times in this show. The one reason people fail is because they give up.
Correct.
It's the one reason. There's a zillion other reasons they'll give you, and they can make other things work and they can manufacture things to make it look like that. But the reality is they stopped trying as hard as they were trying on day one.
Correct.
And I guess from a real estate agent perspective too, because we've all seen the market move so many times, right?
Sure.
You've had front seat. And we go through a phase where properties are flying off the people buying stuff online and jumping
COVID
all
was
over
mad.
you.
I mean, COVID was
right?
mad.
But
COVID was, I had people doing auctions, but the bids going and the prices was just, it was madness.
So people coming into it, new guys and girls coming into it, then go, well, this is easy. I'll have the BMW in the second month and everything's crazy. And then interest rates start to creep up, and now all of a sudden you got to learn your trade. You got to reverse engineer why you came into this.
Yeah, of course. And look, entrepreneurship at all levels, you've got to go through a level of rejection. Real estate is one of those industries that, particularly for the first 10 years, I'm going to say.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but for the first 10 years, metaphorically speaking, you've got to eat a lot of shit. A lot, right? A lot. And it kills most people. I had a really young guy start with me 4.5 years ago, had amazing success in his role, huge triumphs and low lows. And he just had this epiphany, 6 months ago, where his performance started to drop. Checked in with him, what's going on? Like, he was one of my top associates who generated a huge amount of income for our team and had a natural talent for being great. And he had this like epiphany a few months ago. Performance starts to drop, and then he turns around and he just says, "Oh, I've just decided life is too short to be punched in the face this much." And so then now he's gone to be a fitness trainer, and I wish him the best of luck. But the thing is like, I've got a trainer 4 or 5 times a week who's changed my training and who like is so important to use. And he's the level of dedication and labor. He does, I don't know, 50 sessions a week. He's in the gym from 5 to like 6. He's back to back. That's not much easier. So
and
like,
the
it's
research, everyone's different, right?
Yeah, right. So it's like, it's all hard. Everything's hard. It's like, pick your hard and what you want to be hard. Like, obviously, and depending at what level in real estate, you can make like the top real estate agents and making more than the top personal trainers, right? Depending at the extreme. So I guess you got to pick your hard, but mainly play where your passion is. And I've always just done that.
Are you where you wanted to be when you went out? When you opened the door at TRG, did you have a plan? You seem like a guy who would have always have a plan.
How many years is TRG now?
6.
6, yes.
6. Not quite is the honest answer. So like, ultimate dream was, the Rubinstein Group is a complete standalone brand that caters to luxury property. We're still connected to the White Family Group, which is an overarching umbrella that Ray White sits under. Next to that, you've got HTL Loan Market. TRG is one of those businesses. And so it still gives us the ability to take part in the recognition program with Ray White. I wanted to keep that because it's the largest real estate brand in the country. Yeah. And I would rather benchmark myself and the agents at the office amongst the best in the country and thrive. I mean, we thrive, and I thrive off that competitive tension. It's always good to have someone and something to chase. Gets the best out of you if you're a top performer, I find. Yeah. So, ideally I wanted to get number 1 in all 3 categories we perform in. We're 2 out of 3 in the last awards that came. We got second in the 3rd category. So we're not far off, but I've still got a shit ton of work to do for sure. So not quite, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Right.
What do you think was the moment when you went, because you were up there flying, like you said, in the Ray White family.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of controversy about when you decided to sort of want to do what you did.
Sure,
right?
sure.
What do you think was the moment that you decided? Do you think it was early on you kind of always had that desire that you wanted to own your own shop, and then as you matured, you saw how you could do that in a really effective way? Yep. Or was it just a moment where you just thought, you know what, I really want to do this for my own? Or do you think that was always in there somewhere?
So at the risk of sounding like somewhat esoteric, I feel like every big decision I made in my professional life, the universe pushed me to make it. And there were only really, there's always decisions I've got to make. There were 2 major decisions. The first one was when I was an assistant for the first 2 years when I first started, and the decision to be my own standalone agent. I was pushed to do that. The kind of summarized version of that story was I was working for an older guy at the time when I just started, was having a great run, wasn't being fairly remunerated for the value that I was added. Life should be a fair deal. Add value, you should be remunerated for the value you add. I like to keep things simple. He turned around and he said, look, I'm the agent, you're the junior. To which I turned around and said, well, I'm going to have to make this work on my own. And the owners of the firm I was working with at the time saw what I did every day and supported that journey. And then the second one was what you speak about, whereby, the last firm I was at that I worked at for 10 years, the new owner of that and I just had different perspectives, mindsets, approach on how we wanted the future to be and look like. And because of that, I just opted to create my
business
own
partner relationship that's grown apart. Like
Correct.
that, we've been talking about this before as well. It happens
Correct.
in probably 80% of partnerships.
Correct. Yeah. We were never a partnership. I mean,
No, but it's a similar sort of
Similar,
scenario.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
The
different, but it's
difference
similar.
there, though, is you're just some young guy, right?
Well,
You-
yeah. Well, he's not,
At
but he
that
was.
point, no, but at that point, you're a
Thanks
young
for
guy
reminding me.
making these old, wise decisions. Yeah?
But I don't think they were really old and wise, though. That's the thing. I mean, I'd love to sit here and say like I premeditated, planned it all, and I was wise, but I wasn't really, and I'm not really. It just, it's really as simple as I've always been clear on what I've been chasing. And like sales is a great thing in any business, you know, right? You got the ability to I guess get out what you put in, particularly if you pick the right segment of sales. Real estate is definitely that. It's a fair game. It's gonna really reward you if you put in the effort and you put in the right effort. At the same time, it's gonna expose you if you slack. So I just knew where I wanted to go. And so I was constantly making moves in order to get there, I guess.
Ever been a time where you've gone, I'm out?
Thought about that this morning.
Come on. No, out of this podcast or just out?
No.
I think he's thinking about it right now.
I can't sit in front of those guys.
No, I'd never do that to you, lads. No, always. I think it's, you think about it regularly because it's not easy, but what is that's worth doing?
Yeah, right.
What is that's worth doing? I think also at where I'm at now is it's so much more than listing and selling houses. My passion and my shtick and what I love the most is the art of the deal. But at the same time, the office is up to 60. You've got 3 different offices now. There's all the stuff you guys are aware of. You've got staff problems. I do a lot of stuff on the side, brand ambassador deals, podcasts. You name it, right? Whatever we can do to or whatever I could do, I should say, to put myself in a position to get more listing opportunities and sell more homes, I've always done. So it definitely gets challenging, but I think that's part of the journey.
Have you had those, well, I know you have, but I'm going to ask.
Sure.
The moments of self-doubt, right? We all have them. I don't think it matters how successful you become, they come. Everyone tends to deal with them in different ways. Have you changed the way you handle those moments? And I don't know whether they hit you daily, hourly, weekly, or monthly. I think everyone's different. But most people, you tend to be the more successful they are, the more often they hit you. But have you changed the way you've dealt with them? Because I think our audience, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, and I think they will without doubt be experiencing it. And I think it's interesting, as much as people learn their craft, and I know that you're very much studious and learning and always wanting to improve, a lot of people don't work out how to improve, how to deal with that. And I actually think that's one of the biggest things you need to learn how to improve.
It's huge. It's huge. I think so, because the stakes are higher now. And so consciously or subconsciously, I'm aware of having to manage that. I think so for me, it's all an internal game, isn't it? Right. So like I heard a guy say on a podcast actually a few weeks ago that self-esteem is essentially the reputation you have with yourself. And so what that looks like is if I make a deal with myself, and I make a lot of deals with myself, if I don't honor them, that would equate to lower self-esteem. And I think whenever I do make a deal with myself, I do everything I can to honor them. I'm pretty disciplined around that. For example, during the cycle when I'm working, and I call the real estate cycle in my market anyway, really high energy, high productivity when pretty much the school term is on, and during the school holidays, it slows down a little bit. Mm-hmm. So during those really high productivity periods, like as much as I love this whiskey, right? I don't have a sip of alcohol.
I've read that about you. You don't drink during term times.
So I just went away in July. I had my annual mid-year break, which is my biggest one of the year, where I really get a chance to turn off. And I didn't have a sip of alcohol 3 months leading up into that, and the same at the start of the year, right? And I really like to drink. Like I love drinking wine with my food, and I enjoy that. But if I make a deal with myself, I'm talking not a sip. Yeah. If I make that deal with myself, I honor it. So it's kind of structure like this that I've built up that helps me manage the self-doubt periods. And I think I've identified and rigorously stuck to a process that has worked now for coming up to 2 decades. I can't believe it. That it's kind of, I don't want to go as far as saying it's bulletproof, but it really works.
Have you come unstuck?
No.
That's remarkable.
No.
That is remarkable. Why do you think that is? Did you grow up in an undisciplined childhood or a very disciplined childhood? Was it something you brought in? Is it something you read, or did you hear something? Or what do you think causes that? Because it's unusual.
Yeah, I don't know. My brother's the same, super disciplined.
Brother's in the forces.
He was in the Army Special Forces,
right.
and he was a commodities trader for like 10 years. Now he's CFO, managing director of the business, which is great. I don't know, but like my dad even said to me not too long ago, he was like, mate, when you were a kid, you were a fucking mess, right? He's like, I was worried about you. I used to go into your room and I was scared to go into there, and you used to sleep until like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon on the weekend and in your school holiday. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I think the deeper I went down the rabbit hole, the more addicted to it I got. I think when you win, it becomes like, I want more. I want to keep going. And that's a balance too. You don't want to be too much of a what's the next thing and focus on the win. But I think it worked.
You had your why.
Correct.
If you've got your why,
correct,
then at least you can attach it to something, I guess.
Correct. And yeah, here we are.
It sounds like a terrific startup mindset.
It does. Well, I think
like
it's a
to
terrific
get the
mindset.
train on the tracks and then somehow try and keep it there. Well, it's all it can all be falling apart around you sometimes.
So why did you start this drink?
Well, this is an interesting question. It was just for fun.
Yeah.
Just for fun. Just basically wanted to make 60 bottles for 60 mates for my 60th birthday.
Love that.
And then we won some big awards, put it on Instagram.
I love the way it throws that in there. Blind tastings with blind files, just some awards, no big deal. Over in the US, nothing.
It just went crazy. It was never meant to be business, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm really, really interested in this startup world, because it's nothing that I've ever studied or looked at.
Yeah.
And I'm all of a sudden up to my neck in it. And, talking about distribution and investment models and all sorts of different things. So this was never meant to be a business, as opposed to, so I'm finding the why for it, but I've had to reverse engineer that.
Completely.
Why is this happening?
That's why we're doing the podcast, for Larry to learn, but we're learning in front of the world.
Love that.
Which is where you spend all your life. So it makes sense. You spend your life in front of the world, so you should learn in front of the world.
That's right.
It's interesting.
So I know you mentioned your dad before. And I think I saw a piece on Luxe Listings, and we're getting to that.
Yes.
Did Dad have any? What business was Dad in?
He's a pharmacist.
Okay, so did he? I think he used to supply my parents. Like his supply. That sounds bad.
That
right?
sounds really bad.
Well, he's a drug dealer. I mean, I used to say to people, my dad's a drug dealer. But
Did he have any, was he any part of this whole process?
He was a huge part.
Yeah. What did he think the time where you said, I'm going out on my own, I'm just going to go and swing the bat?
My old man's always just unconditionally supported me since like the start. If I wanted to do it, no matter how crazy the idea would have sounded, he'd be like, go for it.
Sure. That's good.
That was him. He had a lot to do with it. When I was younger, I remember spending a lot of time in the dispensary, and he didn't own the business. He worked for someone else for a long period of time, which I never understood, but he did. And everyone that came into the pharmacy always used to say, we want to speak to Colin. We want to deal with Colin. We want to, and so people loved dealing with him. And so from a customer service standpoint, which is such an important part of what I do, he was impeccable. And then from an energy standpoint, you should meet him today. He's got the highest level energy for a 75-year-old. He also was a great contribution, right?
Yeah.
So, he had a lot to do with it. I'm close with him. I just took him, he's 75, first time to Greece he's ever been in July. We had a great time, and he's an awesome guy.
I love that concept that you saw him impressing people, and people were impressed with him and were attached to him.
Yeah.
It's such an important lesson.
Yeah.
That one.
It's like it's subconscious, right? I also remember he was into Amway. Have you heard of what Amway
my
was?
parents were into Amway.
Right. So he was, never made anything from it or
Don't think anybody did.
I don't think so. Except the guy, pyramid scheme, right?
Whoever that was.
But he was very big into motivational speakers. And I remember, he had this one poster on his wall. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's it's an illustration of a pelican that has a frog in its mouth, and the two hands of the frog are reaching out of the
have
beak,
not seen this.
grabbing the neck, and then it's got in huge capital writing like "Never give up." The pelican's about to eat the frog, and he's like trying to let it go. Right. So I don't know if being persistent and never giving up was ingrained as me, but it's something
Those things impact you.
Yeah, it's something that's definitely helped me, and I think that was important.
Any other what would a poster say on your wall today?
It's a good question. A poster on the wall today. I think it's
Is there a go-to sort of motto or a go-to phrase for you to get through your day?
I just want to enjoy what I'm doing and have fun. Like, you know, you started this great thing from, like you say, having fun. That really resonates with me now.
Yeah.
I think when particularly with a profession like real estate, you know, like the amount of time I've been doing it and the pace in which I've upheld for a long period of time consistently, you want to make sure that you're having fun.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make sure that I'm dealing with people who appreciate the pound of flesh that I'm giving them and the value that I add to them, you know. I want to make sure I've got people in the office who are nice people. It's all these little things that it becomes about at this phase for me.
How do you deal with the heartbreak, the shit stuff? Someone who needed that family house and just outbid at auction by 50 grand and just, you know, because a lot of your work is therapy
Do you get
stuff.
that? You get people
So
really
much.
upset, like
So
really.
much. I think the majority of people who have the shits with me or don't like me in the marketplace had an experience whereby I was just doing my job to the best of my ability. Now, at the end of the day, my job is to get the best price for the vendor. And I think early on I spoke about every agent operates in their own way. I've always been really clear that like I will fight for my vendor and protect them till the end. Really early on in the piece when I was starting out, one of my mentors said to me, like, if it ever gets murky or complicated, because it's going to, you're representing one party in a two-party transaction that can be very emotional. Just remember that your vendor always pays your fee. And that's been the predicator for my business from the start right up until now. And I'll always honor that. I was negotiating a deal now a year ago in Potts Point. Property was on the market for a long period of time. And very well-known guy, names who I won't mention, became interested in it. And he knew it was a good opportunity and was being a bit of a smartass in the negotiation, which was fine. I'm been it all, seen it all, happy to play the game. And it became somewhat dragged out. And, you know, they say time kills all deals, which is true, because in that period, one of the buyers who had seen it early on had re-engaged with me, who was actually introduced by a co-agent. That buyer ends up topping his bid by 50 grand. And this is at like the $9 million level, right? So it's not game-changing stuff, but every dollar counts. And the vendors who I was selling for had a place they needed to settle on. So the guy negotiating had a long settlement and the new buyer had a short settlement, 50 grand more. I was getting paid less because that buyer was introduced from another agent. But still, I had to do my job, get the best result for the vendor. I got paid less on the deal. The buyer who was dragging out the negotiation was a very well-known guy, very good in property, very involved in property. Absolutely hates my guts. But at the end of the day, I sleep really well at night knowing that my vendor's net position was the best from dealing with the other buyer. And you know, that's what I'm paid to do, is get my client the best possible deal for them. And that's what I try to do every single time. So yeah, I go through that a lot.
It is interesting relationship stuff. And I think I've known you long enough. I think I can be candid with you, right?
Sure.
So I bought a place from you and I wasn't happy with that. Like I wasn't happy with, because you were trying to get more money and I gave you more money and I'm like, shit, I should, you know, wish I got a deal out of that.
Is this why we got him on for this? We're having it out. Was this the underlying?
This is Dr. Phil. I've got something I've been meaning to tell you.
I love it.
But then, you know, time goes on and then you think, when we go to sell that place, you want that guy.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it is an interesting, it's an interesting relationship curve.
That's what I mean. They don't hate the real estate agent. They hate when they feel it's a competition.
Yeah.
Real estate in Australia is a competition. You know, I'm from the UK and obviously I've lived here, 26 years now. In the UK, it's the most ridiculous, and I'm sure you understand the system over there with the chain. The whole thing is just the most ridiculous scenario where you can be waiting for 15 people to sell a house before you can settle on that one. Everyone in the chain has to get all it's like madness. That's an even more frustrating thing. No one hates agents there because there's like 20 agents involved in every sale. Whereas here, it's a dog-eat-dog fight, two people to the death kind of scenario, right? So it's a much more emotional experience. It's fascinating.
I love it though. I got to tell you, it's look, I really enjoy it. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you'll do anything to, to fly the flag for
Luxe
the brand.
Listings. Luxe Listings is coming, isn't it?
So here comes Luxe Listings, right?
Yeah.
There you are doing your thing on TV.
Yeah.
Why did you say yes to it?
So, again, I just thought that if what I do was exposed, and they were talking about marketing it internationally, I don't know how many countries, and at a high level,
Yeah.
I didn't naively think everyone was going to love me and love it, but I was confident that I would get and build a bigger business. And I did.
It worked, yeah,
And
didn't
it
it?
worked on a whole nother level.
Because a lot of people said it wouldn't, and it worked really well, right?
Yeah, but people always say
they always say that. They do, yeah.
It's like innately human, isn't it, for them to say that?
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. But it wasn't all butterflies and rainbows. It's like universe balances itself. There's lots of positive, there's lots of negative. I remember a woman walked into an open home. I'll never forget this, that I was marketing a property, and she said, well, I just sold my house for whatever it was, or I just listed my house for 13, 14 million bucks.
Yeah.
And and I had never met her or spoken to her before. Because remember, I was a real estate agent long before I was on Luxe Listings. And she said, I was actually thinking about using you, but then I saw you doing the thing with TV, and that's just not for us because we're, quiet people. I really appreciate you telling me, and I wish you the best of luck. I expected that sort of response from a bunch of people. I think in life, perfection doesn't exist. It's not all going to be positive.
Yeah.
So long as it's more positive than negative, and this is just my opinion, this is just how I live my
like
life,
it. Yeah.
You've won.
Yeah.
Right? And if you look at how it drove sales profile listings after the show, how it helped me recruit, put me in a position to negotiate the TRG deal with the White family, which was the first of its kind at the stage of doing so. Luxe Listings now going back 5 years. It was hugely beneficial, and we're in talks to confidentially do another iteration of it, and I'd do it 100 times over because it's very powerful. Yeah. And for what I do, the more people that know about you, know your name, the more opportunities are going to come your way. So that's why I did it, and thankfully I have no regrets.
Did you get on? Did everyone get on? Because there was a fair few personalities in that show, to say the least. It looks like you got on, apart from the stage ones where you weren't getting on, which were obviously staged. But did it all sort of work out? Because it was a good opportunity for everyone, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone kind of got along.
It's a lot of big personalities to throw together.
A lot of big personalities. Simon and I, we really get along.
Yep.
Again, his business catapulted since the show.
Yeah, right.
That's really worked well. I think everyone won from that show. I don't think anyone lost. The other agents involved, no problems, no issues with them.
Is there anything in that journey that you've had so far, and you've still got a long way to go?
Long way.
Is there anything that you go, God, I wish I'd done that differently? Or are you fairly matter of fact when you think back, you look, well, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't have done everything exactly the way I've done it?
Yeah, there's nothing throughout the course of my professional career that I would do differently at this point. No, nothing.
Not many people can say that.
No, nothing.
But they should, unless they're unhappy with where they are. Because if you're happy with where you are, you can only have got to that place by the exact route that you took, really.
Well, and I'm not saying I made so many mistakes and still make lots of mistakes, but every time I made a mistake, I learned a lot from it.
Well, that's the key, right? It's not making the same mistake over and over and over again.
Look, I'm just out here giving it a crack and trying to learn as much as I can to be in a position to add as much value as I can, and that's always been kind of my MO.
Look, a lot of young real estate agents are going to watch this or want to be agents.
Yeah.
Give them a reality check, right? Because those first few years, how many phone calls are we talking? Like what it's not just give your Saturdays up. It's not stand there and smile. No. It's not just write numbers on an app.
No.
What are the harder parts of the industry? Not just in terms of the physical parts, because we all know you have to call like God knows how many phone calls, right?
Yep.
But it's the mental parts. What is the hardest part in the, let's not say first 10 years because you terrify them. There'll be no real estate left, but say the first 2 years, right?
That's a good thing. Clear out the industry. Maybe we can start doing better than
maybe if the whiskey doesn't work, who knows, right?
No, it's
I'm a really good people person.
It's funny when people come to see me, I try to scare the shit out of them.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing.
And then if they come back and they still want it, then I'm like, all right, this person is at least come further than most people will. I think you've got to get into it for the right reasons. A lot of people I meet who want to get in the industry that I ask, tell me what you think in your mind selling real estate is about. I've had like one person answer it correctly from thousands of people that I've asked. So, understand what's involved in it and make sure that, no different to when I started, you've got a plan. You have an idea of what you want. It's like any business, right? Like so many people come in, they don't have a plan. They're not willing to invest in themselves for the first 5 years at least. Let's not say 10. Every dollar I made virtually went back into the business, helping build my profile, marketing myself at the time, amplifying the results I'd get for people. And like, unless you're willing to go through that, it's probably not the business for you. You need metaphorical Teflon everywhere, and you need to put it on every morning, and you've got to be prepared to take a hit. And if that sounds exciting to you, that level of challenge, then give me a call.
How many people now are delusional after Luxe listings and $1 million listings? And I just bring it back to a startup base. We're going, people have done this $50 million exit and a $200 million exit out of nowhere. And there's sort of some quite delusional people around,
of course,
who see these different setups and go, I'm
going to tell you a stat in a minute. I'm going to let you answer that question first. I'm going to tell you about the stat that will terrify you, but finish the question first.
It's huge. I mean, if you think about it, right, in the East, let's talk about the East. You lived in the East a long time, growing up in the East. How many new, I'm talking Harbourside, real estate firms to sell and target these sorts of properties that I sell have come about and actually worked? How many can you think of?
As in new agencies?
Yeah, like outside of the brands that the Ray Whites had been around.
One or two tops.
It's not a lot, is it?
No. In 20 years.
There's a reason.
25 years I've been here now, yeah. 26 years.
There's a reason why.
So not as easy as it looks on TV.
And I think, like, when I compared Luxe Listings, and again, you're talking 5 years ago, so that's old now, but when you compare it to some of these other shows like $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset, I think it is the most authentic in the category that it's in. I'm not saying, in the category that it's in, representation of what goes on, right? A lot of these other ones are high drama. The $1 Million Listings one is just easy looking phone calls. I feel like they, compared to the rest of the shows, portrayed it in the most realistic way.
Interesting.
Right. And you had something to say then.
You want to hear the stat?
What's the stat and what's it on?
So the stat,
it was a great promo, by the way. I've got a stat coming. Keep listening.
I just thought I'd throw it in there. So I don't want anyone to drop off the episode about this point, right? This is normally when they're... No. So I still run my recruitment business as well. And one of the stats that I've read, maybe last week, and it's based out of the US. Right. And they basically polled as many college students in the US as they could. And they wanted to find out, and this was really driven because AI is changing things and people are worried about jobs. So they wanted to find out what most people wanted to do, when they finished college. 61% of people, 61%, and they've never had a stat that big in a singular category. So it's been sort of 15 to 20 is the maximum, right? That might have been a doctor or whatever.
Real estate.
No, it's not real estate.
Okay,
but it is influencer.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, that's just another example of something that looks easy.
Interesting.
But it's so not easy. Like real estate.
I would have never
like
picked that.
62%, 61, 62, I can't remember the exact number, but that is wild. And I think we've got this whole world of people that look at an industry like real estate from a very outside vision. And if you are buying a house, it doesn't matter what age, you go and you see the guy standing there or the girl standing at the door taking your name, and then they know the house is going to sell. They maybe do an auction, or maybe they even get an auctioneer and they don't even do that. And then they run around going, I'll put another 5 in. And they think that's what it is, right? Because that's what they see. Just like you see influencers.
100%.
And you look at them and you don't know it took them 22 hours to do that 30-second clip,
Probably
right?
more. Probably more.
Since I've started doing media and creating content, I've learned, and I love it, and that's why I do it. It's the funnest thing I've ever, I fell into it by accident. But the amount of time it takes to get things right is wild.
It's nuts.
And so I just find it interesting that the whole world, and this is very much how people look at your industry.
For sure.
It's just, isn't that a crazy stat though?
Unbelievable.
I wanted to share. I've been wanting to tell someone all
now
day.
I really want to be an influencer.
Well, I think
I want to be a real estate agent.
You're like the ultimate influencer.
The ultimate.
The ultimate influencer. That's what we could call the show.
Mate, we've got to wind up, but we'd really love just, your one big tip to to young people.
Or what
Kick
about
it.
to Larry? One big tip to Larry.
I think
Ooh,
Larry.
that's
I think
He
Larry
doesn't
can
drink. He's a bad guy.
I feel
to
like
ask.
Larry
Well,
can give me several tips.
he drinks in June, July. Sorry, July.
June, July, Christmas, I drink. There's a couple times.
Yeah,
a year.
make sure you got plenty of
Your
bottles.
dad will like it.
He'd love. Let me tell you, I'm going to take that for him.
All right.
One big tip, I would say, just always try to do a little bit more than people expect you to do. Like exceed expectations. I think that's a big one. I think whether you call it service, whatever industry, there's a lot of mediocrity out there.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot of not exceeding and not hitting expectations. If you can focus on exceeding people's expectations and you show up consistently, I don't think you can lose.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, that's...
When you say consistently, like 60, 61%, yeah? Like all the time.
It's like that old
You
phrase.
got that stat in your head now. No, more than that. More than that.
You show up at the barber... What's that? You show up at the barber shop long enough, eventually you're going to get a cut.
Yeah, right.
Same sort of
Do
concept.
more than everybody else does. Make sure you're doing that little bit more than everyone else. There's always these little things.
That's why I
right?
wanted to do the podcast, because I'm so curious about this space. Right?
Yeah.
Not happy just bumbling along trying to do the whiskey business. Now I want to know how to do business.
Are you going to do more from this? Like different ideas and
I think so. Well, from the whiskey business?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I mean, the alcohol industry is wide. It's huge.
Yeah,
And
it's
plenty
massive.
of different opportunities. But just from a business perspective, I didn't want to be the guy at the end of the chain, just bumbling along.
Yeah.
I want to know how it all works. So
Yeah, you don't want to just be the celebrity at the end. You want to be in it, right?
no, it's my thing. So
I love
I'll
that.
keep showing up.
Well, we'll support it as always, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Mate, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.